Hey everybody, Jordan from Wardrum here. We're back with another developer update video for you all, and boy, we have got a lot of stuff to talk about. So go grab a cup of coffee, have a seat. We're going to be talking about the new PvX game mode. We're going to be talking about the brand new pheromones that we're introducing into the game. We're going to be going over some bug fixes and new features. I'm also going to be teasing another new item that's coming a little further out down the line. Then we're going to go over some new community guidelines that are about to be implemented. And finally, we'll wrap things up with some community requests. So let's dive right into things and start talking about PvX. This is that brand new game mode that we talked about in the last developer update video. And essentially what it is a combination of PvE and PvP into one server type. So the way that this works is that the center of the island is an entire PvP zone, as well as all of the caves and Carno Island up in the northeast. So you can see here on this map that we've thrown up, this is a bit of a visualization for you. So you can see that big center area. When you're actually in the game, this center area and these PvP zones will be surrounded by a giant wall. So it's a big red wall that goes all the way up into the sky, and you can't build on either side of it for 100 feet. Our basic goal with this PvX game mode is that we anticipate players to build bases where it's safe in the PvE zone and then venture into the PvP zone to get better loot, to level your character up, to go tame those really high level creatures. And, you know, that's how we see things playing out. So that's kind of our general goal of what we're going for. So it's in beta testing right now. We've got about 1,000 testers playing it, giving us feedback, and we've actually already made some adjustments based on what we've heard from them. And then once we're done and we're comfortable, we're going to put this into the full worldwide release. It will start as Primal Pass only servers at launch, and then we hope to open that up to a wider server base shortly thereafter. So let's talk about some of the things that make this game mode very unique. And so the first are going to be the buffs that you get in the PvP zone. So when you're in the PvP zone, you're going to get plus 50% stamina, you're going to get plus 50% XP gains, you're going to get plus 50% structure health, plus 50% imprint effectiveness, and even a couple other buffs that we've got going on. If you want to read the full details, we've got a blog post outlining everything on the forums. And with those XP gains, we've got plus 50% in the PvP zone and minus 50% in the PvE zone. So what that actually means is that when you're playing on this server, venturing into the PvP zone is going to give you 3 times as much experience. Another thing that's only going to be found in the PvP zone is supply beacons. Yes, my friends, we have brought supply beacons back only in the PvP zone on these PvX servers. The other thing you can only find in the PvP zone are amber deposits. So if you want to level up, you want to get that high-end loot, you're going to have to venture into PvP and take your chances. Tribe sizes are limited to 6 on these PvX servers. And we've also made adjustments to the resource respawn rates. So when you're in PvE, that's going to be reduced by 3x. And when you're in PvP, it's increased by 2x. So that's a 6x swing in between the two game modes to really encourage you to go into PvP when you need to do your resource harvesting and then escape back to PvE to build those bases. You're also going to find that the T-Rex, the Giga, the Quetzal, and the Argy mostly only spawn in the PvP zones. You may get lucky and find one in the PvE zone, but primarily if you want to tame one of these 4 highly sought after creatures, you're going to have to go into PvP to do it. And then another thing that I want to point out is some building restrictions. So we've got no building in the caves or the obelisks, and there's also no building on Carno Island or on the volcano, except for the very top crater. We're letting you build in there. Now I want to move on and answer some questions from our community. Those of you who are on our Discord server, link down below if you want to join. We took some questions from y'all about what you wanted to know about PvX, and we'll address some of those now. So let's dive right in. First one up, how will people know when they've crossed the border into the other zone? So I touched on this a little bit earlier, But basically, there's a giant red wall that you will see actually in the game world when you're approaching the PvP zone, and that's how you'll know which when you're about to cross. And then additionally, in the bottom left corner of your screen, we have a UI element that says either PvE or PvP to let you know which zone you're in at any given time. Next question, can I knock someone out in PvP and drag them into PvE? Short answer, no. However, if you have a tribe mate, you can drag your tribe mates across that PvP border. So if you go into PvP, get in a fight with your tribe, and then they get knocked out, you can drag them back to safety to the PvE zone. What Amber items will be restricted? So these are going to be launching into Primal Pass only servers at first, and as such, right now we are following the Primal Pass only server rule set, which means that crafting stations are turned off. So eventually, when we do intend to launch these into non-Primal Pass servers for everybody, those at that point will follow the standard PvP rule set, and they will have crafting stations turned on. Next question is one of my favorites that we got. Bear with me here. Will someone be able to craft a raft of turrets, drive it into a PvP zone, then safely hide it in the PvE zone to stop people from taking their items? Essentially, yes, you could do that. But the beauty of having a game mode with both PvE and PvP combined is that people can then react to that. So if that's your tact and that's what you do, then someone can just go back into the PvE zone, build a bridge or some sort of blockade across the river, and then you're stuck from escaping. So really, the beauty of PvX is that we're allowing people to react to these and take action in the PvE zones to counteract what's going on in PvP. Last question is, won't beta players get an unfair head start? So for those of you who are unfamiliar, in our forum post outlining the details, we've announced that our beta players are going to get to keep their survivor name, their survivor levels, and their unlocked engrams when in a full release server when we come out of beta. This was an incentive to them so we can keep our beta players playing as much as possible to give us that feedback. But some of you have these concerns, and the short answer is that these beta players, survivors, will only be transferred to one server in the worldwide release, and we will launch with multiple servers. So if this is a concern of yours, we will definitely be announcing which server all these beta players are transferring to, and you can simply just not play on that server and have a fresh, clean start on one of the other new ones. Now let's move on and talk about this brand new item coming later this week, and that is the pheromones. So like I said, that's coming this week in an update, and this is for all of our breeders out there. This is an item similar to Soothing Balm. I think it's going to be just as popular, and we've got two kinds of pheromones here. We have herbivore pheromones and carnivore pheromones, and you're going to be using these for breeding. So it's a single-use item that you are going to give to your female, and what it does is it increases the mating distance 3x, and it increases your chance of a mutation by 2x. In addition to that, the stats on the fertilized eggs are also increased. So if you just want to eat an egg for a big health boost, you're going to find increased stats on the fertilized eggs made from these pheromones. So like I said, those are coming later this week. 2 varieties. Please, can't wait for y'all to check them out. Give us your feedback. Let us know how you like them. And we'll keep adding more cool stuff for you guys. So speaking of new stuff, let's talk about some bug fixes and new features that are also coming in this week's update or another update after that. These are all things that are just been fixed, and we'll get them out to you ASAP. First up is an Android audio crash fix. So while most of you probably don't even play with the audio on, those who do may have noticed some weird audio issues going on Android, and we've discovered that these were leading to crashes that some of our users have seen. So this fix will be in there and should help out with stability for those Android users out there. We've also got a global server lag fix coming, which is going to increase the FPS on servers. So if you go into that server info button in the options and you like to check out your ping or your FPS to see how that server performance is doing, you will notice better performance after this update. And then let's talk about baby stats. This was an issue that came up after the last baby boom event, where some of you are reporting that stats did not appear correctly, And so what we found with this was a visualization issue where it was just not surfacing the correct information to you. And we have fixed this, and this will no longer be an issue in future events going forward. And then the last thing here in this section is a brand new feature that has been much requested by the community, and that is increasing the vault space to 350 slots. This is a change that was made a couple months ago in other versions of Ark, and we've taken that and gotten it working in our game. So vault space, like I said, now will be increased to 350 slots. Fill it up with as much as you like. Now, let's talk about something really special, and that is a new thing coming to the game. This is a little bit further out, so we're probably a couple weeks away, but that is going to be collars. Yes, you are going to be able to put collars on your creatures and maybe even your survivors. We're still working on that one, figuring out how we want to implement that. But as you can see here, these are some screenshots. These were all taken in our developer environment, so that's why they may look a little different to you. But this is giving you an idea of what the artists are working on right now. We've got that spike collar in there. We got the comfy collar, and we've even gotten a bandana going. So we're designing some super cool functionality for these right now. Can't wait to reveal more to you. Let us know what you think so far. And then we will move on and talk about community guidelines, folks. So let's get serious for a minute. We're about to release a new set of community guidelines for everybody to abide by. Becca, our dear community manager, has been forging her banhammer, and it is almost complete. So we are going to need you all to please play nicely out there. We will post these guidelines as soon as they're ready, but essentially, we just, we want you to respect each other. That's what it comes down to. People who do not respect those will be facing 7-day bans or even permanent bans from servers based on the degree of your offense. So just to give you an idea of what we're going for with these guidelines, specifically PvE has been an issue of complaint lately. Let's remember that PvE is for players who enjoy playing without aggression from or towards other players. As such, when we get reports from players who are blocking in others' bases or dropping tames into people's bases, things like that, it's just not called for in PvE. And so, like I said, that banhammer will be swung very swiftly. So just a few takeaways if you want to start preparing yourself now so that you do not run into trouble. Treat your fellow players with respect. Remember, this extends to your in-game actions. This extends to the way that you name your survivor on the server. And this even extends to things that you say in the chat. So please behave yourselves out there. And now, for one final treat, as we always like to end these videos, let's talk about a community request and what we're going to do about it. So one community request, this is sort of a fun one that we've been getting lately, and this is related to the greenhouse walls and not liking that solid green highlight over the walls so that you can't sit and just look out your window and enjoy the beautiful island. So we fixed that highlight so you can now see clearly all throughout your window. Highlight is just now around the borders, and as you can see in this screen here, if you look closely, you may even see another highly requested community feature. Yes, I do think, my friends, that we may have a new dino joining us soon. So that's it for this week, folks. We'll see you next time. Take care.